Hi, I'm Tom, and this is Adult Game Reviews. This week I jumped back into Ravager by 4-minute warning. Chapter 6 was just released to Steam, and the last time I played was February of 2023. I know 4-minute warning has added a lot more content, so it's about time I jump back in. Was it worth the wait? Let's find out. Unfortunately, my first Ravager review was age restricted, so it's not surprising if you missed that one. You can check that out after the video. Also, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks all. Welcome back to Ravager, the intense choose-your-own adventure about a fledgling dragon. In Ravager, dragons were once the rulers of the realm until your kind was hunted and killed. However, you were born in secret, with the hope of you taking the crown. Unfortunately for you, the current ruler of the land is the pompous, foppish regent, hell-bent on keeping his position and killing you. You must flee, build your army, grow, and take back your land by any means necessary. Okay, so let's look at the visuals. One of my criticisms in my past review was the inconsistent nature of the illustration. Some would look really dark and gritty, while others could look a bit goofy. From what I can tell, the dev tried to increase the continuity of the renders or illustrations, where all of them have a uniformity that didn't exist when I first played. The only downside of this is that many of the updated renders can lean to the goofy side. So there are some scenes where if you sit back and think about what's actually happening, it's pretty messed up. Specifically the scenes where you're leaning into more of your cruel nature, and then you get kind of a comical illustration or scene. I will show more examples of this in the backer section. Consequently, many of the animations can also look goofy at times because of the style of the renders. Now, I didn't think they looked bad per se, but they can take you out of what should be a more serious or brutal interaction. So the visuals will depend on your own personal taste. Now let's move on to the audio. The audio was good. There is sporadic voice acting, which is very well done. There is ambient music that sets the tone pretty well, but what really stands out is all the sound effects. I have to make sure my audio settings are turned down when I have the dragon roar because it can be powerful. So all in all, the audio is really good. Now let's move on to the story. Ravager is probably the best choose-your-own adventure game we have in the genre. There are 3 distinct paths, but so many choices down each path. The nice part is that each path is gatekept by your choice of hideout, which gives hideout-specific choices. I mean, there are choices on choices on choices, which makes replayability so deep. Plus, there are stats that you need to be aware of, like your army's morale, if you're merciful or cruel, and how much money you have in the horde. This leads to so much story branching. As an example of some of the unique interactions, one of the 3 hideout paths, you can recruit a warlock. If you foster and contribute to his twisted and unethical experiments, he can be a strong ally. However, every time you learn something, the next experiment is more and more insane. I saw the end of his current level of content in my last playthrough, and I can't wait to see the conclusion. However, I have no idea how long that will take, but so far so good. Now let's get into the plot. There isn't a ton of nuance here. When I said you're a red dragon trying to take back your kingdom by any means necessary, that sums it up pretty well. So don't expect a lot of twists and turns with the story itself, with one major exception. Most of this content surrounds battle and exploring individual characters' backstories. This character exploration can involve a deep dive into the history of the realm or the individual characters. This is good and bad. Sometimes the deep character exploration is interesting, and other times it can feel like a chore. In the early acts, you can depart your hideout and explore the land. That's how you recruit different characters and have different events. When you return, you can talk to your allies and some of your enemies, and there were times it felt like I spent an hour just asking questions to each character to explore their backstory. These moments felt like very large lore dumps, and I could get bored, so I would just skip some stories and go back out and explore the land. However, I was always super paranoid about missing something if you don't talk to everyone, which there are quest lines you can miss in Act 4 if you fail to check in with people. The upside is the rating is well done, and each of the characters are fairly unique. Next, I want to briefly discuss the customization of your experience. There are tags for virtually every type of content in the game. You can turn off or on whatever you like and are comfortable with. If you are uncomfortable with certain aspects of Ravager, there is the Moon Edition that turns the rated R Ravager into more of a PG-13 style game. While certain references still exist, it's toned down a lot, so there is something for everyone's level of comfort. So what did I think? Ravager is the best choose-your-own adventure out there. The replayability is crazy. Even if you only do 3 playthroughs with each of the hideouts, there is a ton of content. Now, the only question is, how squeamish are you? There is a lot of extreme content from gore to violence, and when I think of red dragons, I think Ravager encompasses the ruthless cruelty you would expect them to have. If you ever played D&D, they're always evil. However, in Ravager, you can be merciful or cruel, so it's up to you. Even though I've never had a playthrough where I could only make good, happy choices and be successful. So all that said, this is a play for me. While Chapter 6 just finished, I'm unsure how much longer Ravager has until it's fully complete, but I will be patiently waiting for more future content. I want to thank all my backers on Patreon and Subscribestar, and if you haven't seen my review of Element 174, you can check it out right here. Thanks again. Until next time.